what's up? This is Coach Stokes, Stokes House Boxing Academy. You got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready. Hey, what's up? This is Coach Stokes, Stokes House Boxing Academy. You got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready. And we definitely are staying ready with today's very special guest. Hey, it's nobody other than my co-host of the Gatekeepers, my mom, my coach, my best friend, Coach Gloria Peak, the first woman to ever coach on the men's and women's Olympic level boxing. What's up, Coach?
How you doing, sweetie?
Hey, not bad. How you doing?
Good, good.
Hey, Mom, there's a lot of people that know of you around the world, but those are those people that don't know of you, that have been living underneath a rock. Can you let them know your story and how you got into the sport of boxing?
Oh, wow. Well, my introduction to boxing started at the tender age of 8, believe it or not. I was introduced to boxing through my father. My father wasn't a boxer, but he loved the sport of boxing. And he loved to watch boxing. And as you know, usually in most families, little girls have a tendency to gravitate towards dad and little boys gravitate towards mom. And so whatever dad wanted me to do, I was down. I mean, if it was helping him on his old green Dodge out in the parking lot with all the fellows from the projects, they'd be out there working. I'd be the only little girl there. Now, that didn't make my mom happy, but I like to hang with dad. Dad would come at 5 o'clock in the morning wanting to go fishing down on the creek. My brothers were like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Are you crazy? No, Dad, no, absolutely not. But when he came and said, little girl, you want to go? I was like, yeah, whatever, Dad, I'm with you. Yeah. So I went. So he loved to watch the fights. And I got introduced to the old Gillette Friday night at the fights. That's when they used to could see the best elite boxers in the world on Friday night at the fights. Okay. And we got to see them for free.
Yes.
Now you're paying $80 to see bums. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. But
who stuck out in your mind? Who stood out in your mind that you remember?
Emil Griffin, was one of them. Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah. Oh man, there were so many. But those were two that I could think of right offhand. Yeah. But I just, I enjoyed sitting there watching the fights with him. And at the same time, they looked like warriors to me. They were like gladiators. That's what I used to think of them as. And I loved it every Friday night, anytime. I was right there in the TV with Dad watching the fights. And so that became my introduction. And as I got older, I became even more, intrigued and interested in these fighters. And I realized that boxing was going to be a part of my life. I was around 10 years old. I was in the Girl Scouts, and I went to see my first ballet performance in New York City at Radio City Music Hall. And I went to see the Nutcracker Suite, and I'll never forget it. I mean, it's burned into my mind. I went to see it, and as I sat there and I watched the ballet, I watched the male dancers, I immediately thought of the boxers. And what I was able to do at that age, I was able to superimpose one on the other. And when you did that, what you got was both are very sculptured, both are very graceful, right? Both are very powerful in their movement, and in their expression. The only difference is that one is combative and one is an art form. But to me, they were both an art form.
Yes.
And I knew right at that moment that boxing would be a part of my life forever. And people say, when I tell them that story, they're like, come on, you kidding me? How could you know that? What do you mean? You mean you really sat there and you saw that? I said, yes, that's what I saw. And ever since then, boxing's been a part of my life. So, I began to move up the ladder, got involved with AAU because at the time it wasn't USA Boxing, it was AAU. Okay. And boxing was under that. And I began to learn the ins and outs of boxing. But one of the things that I've always incorporated in boxing is dance, okay? Because I love the art forms, and dance is a very important part of boxing. Rhythm, footwork, movement, it's all an intricate part. And some coaches don't understand that.
Yeah. And
their boxers will fall short because it's an element that they don't incorporate.
So is dancing a must? I know the answer, but to my audience, is dancing a must? Something that a fighter that's going to be underneath you, they must do?
Yes. I mean, I've had guys come in and I tell them, all right, gentlemen, I said, how many of you know how to dance? And they're like, no, we came here to fight. We didn't come here to dance. And I'd be like, gentlemen, if you can't dance, you're not going to be able to fight.
Right.
And they're like, that doesn't make sense. Why do I need to dance? I don't need to dance to know how to throw punches at people. Oh, yes, you do. I said, what you don't understand is that, if you look at a boxer, mm-hmm. Okay, if you look at think of one of the nicest boxers you've ever seen. If you watch that boxer, okay, they're very graceful. Their movement is very rhythmic. The timing and everything like that. It's beautiful to watch. Yeah. And a boxer will beat a brawler, a righty, a lefty. I don't care what you throw at him each and every time, because they have that sense of movement. They have that sense of timing. They're able to do things with their body that other boxers can't do. They're very laid back. They're very their defense is just phenomenal because they're very hard to hit.
Yes, without a doubt. I can tell the audience. I was under Coach Pete, and that was the first thing we danced before we did anything. That was the warm up, dancing. Yeah. And it was quite some time. So it may be hard for a lot of other people. But the more and more you do it, the more trained you get to it, and the better you will be better at, moving laterally, left to right, north and south. I want to ask you this, Coach. You've had a lot of adversities because we already know that boxing, now is more catered towards, women. But back when you were coming up, it was unheard of, and I know you had a lot of negatives. You had a lot
yes.
of what I was telling you, like, no, you're not going to make it. We're going to push you out. Can you please explain, some of the adversities, that you had to overcome? Because right now you winning. I mean, you went to the Olympics.
Yes, I did something that I've been told every step of the way I could not do, including making the Olympic team. Okay, but when I started out, and what people kind of need to understand, I call boxing the last great domain of men. It's the last great domain, okay? Because it's one of the last sports that women have broken into.
Right.
Okay. They've broken into pretty much everything else, refereeing, baseball, soccer, soccer, football. You know, they're breaking into coaching in football and, you know, gymnastics, all those sports. A lot of the sports that were predominantly men, you know, women have been able to move into in some form or fashion. But boxing was like the last great domain, because you've always been told, and I was always told, you can't coach boxing. That's a man's sport.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta be hard. You gotta be a dog. You too soft. They're not gonna listen to you. They're not going to follow your instructions. You know, you're wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, well, I want to thank you for that bit of knowledge. I said, you know, you're about the 20th person that told me that, and I appreciate it, and I'm going to take it and do with it what I've done with everybody else. Okay, wipe my muddy shoes on it and throw it into the trash can.
Right.
Because I can do anything I choose to do and anything I put my mind to. And from what I can see, it doesn't take anything special to coach boxing. I mean, you know, I would ask guys, do you have an extra arm? And they said, what? Do you have an extra arm? I mean, do you need an extra arm to coach boxing? Well, no. I said, oh, okay. Well, then that's one obstacle I don't have to overcome. You know, I said, you need two heads. Is there something you need that I might possibly don't have? Okay. And I can't even say it during this interview, some of the things that these coaches have tried to tell me that I needed in order to coach men. You know, and I said, well, you know what, we'll just wait, because the proof is in the pudding. We'll see what happens when I develop my boxers, you know, and we'll see whether or not your forecast will be solid, will come true. And what's happened is each and every time, you know, it did not. And it's funny because I've had guys coach and apologize. And I'll give you one, for example, who coached he coached several times on the Olympic team, Coach Abdullah. Mm-hmm. The first time I ran into Coach Abdullah, my boxer, Randall Stevens, was scheduled to box his guy who was ranked, I think he was ranked 3, maybe 2. And when they pointed me out to him saying, your box peaks, he told his boxer, said, man, you ain't even gonna have to sweat hard. So we go to the ring, the bell ring, and came back, used his jab, put him on one, third round, out. Now, the only that was because he came over to me, to you. I'm like, for what? Why? Because you were coach your boxer well, that, you know, was sexist and unwarranted, and I have all the respect in the world for you. And that was my first time ever meeting him. I worked with him since and everything, but you
That
know,
wasn't good.
I mean, that was just some of the things. Yeah, that was some of the things that, you know, that I was facing. Now, a lot of it I faced, you know, there were things that happened in the locker room and stuff that, you know, coaches did and put their athletes in embarrassing situations just to try to get at me, you know, like, for example, making them drop their towel and assuming that I would be, you know, I would be upset, I would be embarrassed, you know, and I would be like, son, listen, pick that towel up, don't feel bad. Not everybody is as big as everybody else, and you're gonna be all right. There's somebody out there for you. So the boxer got embarrassed and was
prime
mad.
Coach Pete.
He was mad at the coach. He was mad at the coach for putting him in that situation.
Really? Yeah, he got set up. He got set up.
Yeah, right. And so everybody laughed. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't, you know, they didn't realize that I had a very strong constitution. I believed in what I was doing. I was determined to be the best in the world. You know, that was my attitude. I studied the sport. I studied it like I studied my math and my English in school. You know, I carried notebooks. I learned from everybody around me, you know, all the coaches, you know, the ones that were great and the ones that were bad.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, that's one of the key elements in rising to the occasion, you know, and being able to go up the ladder. You have to be able to learn from your environment and learn from everybody. Those that are good and those that are bad.
So and you jump right into it. I was going to say, you know, what is your words of advice for, you know, not just experienced coaches, but for novice coaches? And you just answer that, and, you know, just don't be afraid to learn, because there's a lot of coaches that I've met, and I'm pretty sure you ran across, that are jaded. You can't tell them anything. They feel like their way is
right.
The day way or nobody way, but their way hasn't been working. They haven't been producing. Their kids not winning. Your kids are not leveling up. So they end up getting bitter. They end up getting bitter, and you can see it. What would you tell those coaches that are having those problems?
Probably the first thing I'm going to tell them is, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. You're in it for the wrong reason. If you're jaded and bitter because of that, and because your guys are not winning, you're not in it for the athlete. You're in it for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. You want people to see how big you are, how good you are, and the harder you try to do that, the more it will elude you. Okay, because you need to be there, yeah. But for the athlete.
Yeah.
Remember the other day I told you that they had to be, coaches had to be, they had to be compassionate. They had to have that you know, you're not in it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you're in it for what you can do, you know, for your athletes. How can you make them the best they can be? Okay. And it's not about the praise you're going to get. That can't be part of the equation.
Right.
Because if it is, you're going to wind up in trouble, because you're looking for somebody to come and pat you on the back and tell you how great you are. And that's not going to happen, because a lot of these folks around you are trying to get the same thing. Somebody to pat them on the back. They don't care about you. Yeah. They're trying to get somebody to pat them on the back and tell them they're great, you know, and, you know, it's a vicious cycle.
You know, I'm learning that every day. There's a lot of people that think they watch Rocky or they watch Creed, and think like they only see the glamour and glitz. They only see the end result, you know. But this is a lifestyle. This is something that you got to live, not just, you know, 1 minute when your fighters is winning, but when they get down, you have to be able to know how to motivate them. You got to be able to know how to get across to them. You got to talk their language. You got to understand their body language. That's with everything. And there's a lot of fighters. I mean, excuse me. There's a lot of coaches out there that are frauds. They're getting the athletes hurt. What would you say to those athletes? To an athlete that's looking for a good gym or a good coach, what should they look for, Coach?
They need to look for a gym where they can come, they can be comfortable, where they see that there's the potential for advancement. There's the potential to learn and get better, to add new tools to the toolbox. You know, and it has to be an atmosphere where you're comfortable, where you want to be, where it's the first place you want to go and the last place you. That is like, you know, how I create that kind of environment is I make it a home. Okay, I make it, you know, just like your home. You know, your kids, that's where they want to be. They want to be with you and Lanisha. They, you know, they don't want to be anywhere else.
Right.
They feel good when they're there. They have fun. They know, you know, they're gonna be fed. Mm-hmm. And when I say fed, not just food to sustain you, but you need food for the soul.
Right.
You need food for the soul. You need food for the mind. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be in a gym that feeds you, that gives you that food for the soul and the mind. Okay? That helps you to continue to step up the mountain or go climb the mountain. You're going to get higher and higher and higher, better and better, closer towards your goal. You got to have a place where you feel that you are getting that. And at the same time, you feel safe. You know you're going to be taken care of. You're not going to be thrown to the dogs.
Right.
I've had boxers come to me that because of their size, coaches would throw them in with these adults, you know, and almost get the kid killed and say, you know, just get out there and fight, you know. And, you know, they were like, they tried to kill me, coach. Yeah, right. They did, you know. They just threw you to the dogs. Yeah. So they have to find a place where they feel safe. Okay, they feel physically safe, and also where they feel their soul is being fed, their mind is being fed, and they're getting the technicals they need in order to reach their dreams. Mm. You know, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and you're not going to find a lot of coaches who want to do that, Steve, because of what it takes and what it takes out of you. I mean, this is a great sport. I love this sport, but it's a very thankless sport because you can put time and energy into an athlete and develop them and get them to a level, and they'll walk away from you.
Yes,
you know,
I hear that.
After
I hear that story all the time.
You've done, and that's why a lot of coaches don't stay in it real long. It's either hit and miss, or, you know, the ones that do stay in it long is usually they have their own kids that they're working with, their sons or daughters, because it's really hard.
It's madness.
It's very hard.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is. That's the one thing I learned from being a fighter to being a coach. It's like being a fighter is way easier than being a coach. You have so many different variables that you got to work with, you know, like, you know, dealing with the commission, well, not the commission, but dealing with, you know, other coaches, you know, officials. And it's a lot of stuff that you gotta, that you will learn OJT, on the job training, real fast.
Yep.
Either you're gonna get with it or you're gonna get rolled out of town. Simple as that.
Right.
It is
on a rail.
it's unreal. Ma, I wanna throw you a loop. I want to throw a ring inside the loop. Then my question is, you got three people you could bring back from the dead. You got to pick one though. All right, Nelson Mandela. Three people: Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, or Martin Luther King.
Oh, wow!
I got you.
Wow.
I got you, didn't I?
Ooh. Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my God!
Only one. Only one.
All right.
Let's hear what she gonna say, audience. Let's hear what she gonna say.
Oh boy, this is tough, man.
Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, or Martin Luther King. Hey, and I'm gonna add this on. Yeah, I'm gonna add on to today's climate. What's going on in today's climate? Who would you want to bring back to, you know what I'm saying, to help?
They all have some very dynamic elements that would be key during this time. But if I can only pick one, it's going to be Martin Luther King. It's going to be Martin Luther King.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with neither one of them.
But no, you can't. You can't. But Martin Luther King, I feel, has a broader diversity that he can bring to the table, as far as being able to galvanize people. I mean, you know, if it right now, you need an individual that can bring the masses together. Yeah. Okay? Dr. Martin Luther King is that kind of person. He's, you know, his ability to speak and just draw people to him. Okay? And even though he didn't preach violence and he wasn't a violent person, he was able to do a lot of things without the violence. But at the same time, he was able to get people to stand up to the establishment, right, to say, okay, we've had enough. We're not going to take it anymore. We're going to do what it takes to make the change. Okay? He did that in a way. Now, Malcolm X would have been, let's pick the gun up. Let's go ahead and just, you know, let's go ahead and fight this out. Yeah. You know, but, and at the same time, you know, Martin Luther King knew how to get people from all walks of life, all colors, all genres to come together, you know, and I think of everybody, he does that the best. Okay. You know, so yeah, that's the person that I would pick.
What would you say is the best thing, or one of the best things that's happened to you while being in boxing? I know the Olympics is up there, but one thing that sticks out to you, like, this is why I do this. This is what drives my love for this sport.
That's real easy, you know.
What's that?
And you're a perfect example. Okay, you're the reason. The fact that I look at you and I see, you know, the husband that you've become, the father that you've become, the man that you've become, you know, and your ability to overcome a great deal of obstacles, and, you know, the fact that I played a small part in that. I was able to to touch you, to be there, to guide you, to help you go on and accomplish. It's you and people like Norris and Shot and, the guys that I helped raise. That means more to me than anything. When I look at you and see, how wonderful you turned out, that to me means more than anything else in the world. That's why I do this. And you guys are the reason that I kept doing this, because there was a lot of days I wanted to quit. There was a lot of times that, you guys didn't see behind the scenes because of everything that I had to do and all the sacrifices I had to make. And, a lot of days I would cry, because I didn't know, which way to turn or what to do. But the one thing I knew is that you guys needed me and I wanted to be there. And so, I always found a way. God always made a way. And, I just believed that this was my gift and what I'm supposed to do.
It is your gift, because I remember you used to put on the gloves back in the day. And this is one thing I want to know. If boxing was big like how it is now for women when you started, who would you have called out? Who would you want to fight? Who would you want to fight? Who would you want to test your skills against?
I would want to test my skills with Ann Wolf. Yes, because listen, I knew I could be a dog. And I remember I cut my teeth on the guy, get an opportunity to fight any women.
Right.
So to me, if a woman had hit me, that would have been softer than what them guys was trying to put on me.
Right, right.
That was rough. They weren't. Trust me. Yeah, trust me. They weren't me, because you down in the hood and stuff. They got to prove something. And when I hit them and stuff, then all the guys are like, "Whoa, man, you got a woman beat you?" Then he trying to tear my head off. So.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. Well, you know what? I got some more questions. These are fun questions that I'm gonna ask you, and you gotta pick between one or the other. So we're gonna start off with the first one: pedicure or manicure, coach?
Pedicure.
Nike or Adidas?
Adidas.
Roller coaster or go-karts?
Go-karts.
Freddie Roach or Emmanuel Stewart?
Emmanuel Stewart.
Coke or Sprite?
Sprite.
Okay. Lilies or roses?
I like roses.
All right. You gotta think about this one. You're going down a steep slope on a bus going 100 miles per hour, and there's only you and the bus driver. Where are you sitting at? In the front, the middle, or the back?
I'm throwing the bus driver out of there, because I'm trying to get down the hill and save my life.
Hell with that. You gonna be the owner of your own destiny, huh?
That's right. I'm driving the bus.
Okay. If you can build a perfect boxer, and you got to use 3 things: ring IQ, offense, and then defense. Who would you pick out of 3 fighters to build a perfect boxer? Who would you pick first for a ring generalship? Tactician, mind. Who's smart?
Ward.
Mm.
Andre Ward.
Wow. 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 That's saying a lot. You can never go wrong with SOG.
Yeah.
Wow. Why'd you pick Andre Ward?
I worked with Andre, getting him ready for the games in, was it 2004 that he went to the games?
Yes, 2004, yes.
Yeah, 2004. And so I spent a little over a month in Colorado at the training with Andre in them, and him and I we got a little close, and I loved talking to him, spending time with him, listening to his mind. He was always the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. And if you ever, and when you showed him something, he was extremely humble. It wasn't like, and I mean, he already had an, and so, to take advice from somebody else other than the coaches that had got him there, because he was undefeated, and, to take advice from myself, like I showed him something in the gym that I thought would really help his offense.
Yes.
And he took it. And then he was the last one leaving out. And he called me over. He said, "Coach, let me show you this. Tell me if you think I got it." And he did it. And I said, I kind of like that. I said, well, that might be something you might want to add, to your repertoire.
Yeah.
But, he thirsts for knowledge. He was extremely hungry. He would learn from anybody and everybody. And he was just like a technician. So he's one of the reasons. And I've watched his career, years.
I remember Andre, and I met him a couple of times. He's a stand-up gentleman. He's a guy that just anybody can walk up to. I hear the stories from you.
Yeah.
Austin Trout was saying, like, other guys that was at the Olympic Training Center during that time, they would go to training, but then they would be worried going out to the mall and doing their thing. They said Andre went to bed early. He did not play. He was there to win that gold medal.
And he won it.
Yep.
And I told him, we sat there and we talked. I said, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to win the gold medal. And he says, why do you say that? I said, because I can see it. I can see it all over you. I can feel it. I know you will. And he did.
Andre Ward.
There's no doubt in my mind. Yep.
Yeah. So we say Andre Ward when it comes to ring generalship. When it comes to defense, who you got?
Pernell Whitaker.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was gonna say that. Why Sweet Pete?
Listen, when you stand in front of a guy who's throwing, dozens of punches at you, and you can make them miss 95 to 98% of the time, and come back and touch him up. Okay.
Yeah.
Enough. I mean, that's something you want to get your athletes to. I'm a defensive coach. Reason so big is because, like I said, I cut my teeth on guys. I didn't have any women during the time I was coming up to spar, so I had to spar guys. And so I learned very quickly, only way I was going to last was with good defense. Okay, I got tired of black eyes, crooked noses, fat lips. So I learned to move using my footwork, my head movement, making them throw and miss. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Defense is key.
Sweet Pea, you can never go wrong. Peace be upon him, man. Sweet Pea, one of the greatest, definitely. And a lot of people throw him into the equation when it comes to defense. Me, I'm gonna pick Sweet Pea, but then a close second, or it could be a close first. I would say James Toney.
Oh yeah, Tony was good too. Yeah,
Toney, definitely. Mom, your last one when it comes to offense. Who you picking offensively?
I like Roy Jones.
Whew. Roy was something special, man. Roy was something special.
Roy could hit you from all different types of angles.
Yes, he can.
You know, he would move, throwing punches, and they'd be coming at you, me of an octopus, 8 arms. You didn't know what you'd be like, yo, ref, over there, make sure he's human, because I think he got 2 more arms over there, way that he's just with 2 punches, because doing 4 and 5 at one time.
Right. From all different angles that you don't know.
Right.
Very unorthodox.
Right. Oh yeah.
So we got, if we do wrap up, you got Ward for when it comes to his IQ, his ring generalship, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker for defense, and Roy Jones Jr. when it comes to offense. So that would be a perfect boxer. Let me ask you this. This is one I want to know. If you could pick any coach, past or present, to go up against, who would you like to base your boxing knowledge against?
Any coach.
Any coach.
Wow. I think I would try, let's see, out of Detroit, what's his name?
Emmanuel Stewart?
Emmanuel Stewart.
Yeah. He's a legend, man. Great. He did so much for Detroit, man. Yeah, killer.
He created Monster. He created Monster.
You still there?
So yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the person I think I would go with, is Emmanuel Stewart. I would like to see how up against him. That would be good. I mean, I'd like that.
I would like to see that. I definitely would like to see that. I'm serious. I know you ain't afraid to go up against anybody. But yeah, that would be great, because just to see how tacticians work, you know.
Yeah.
I think it'd be something.
Yeah.
I think he would have enjoyed to do it too. You know, I think.
I think we'd have had a good time.
Yeah, he probably would have treated you to dinner afterwards. He probably would have like, yo, dinner on me. You know.
Yeah, go and talk about this.
Hey, Coach. Before we conclude, what do you got coming up? I mean, I know we got this pandemic and everything, but what do you know, when the gym opens and when you get back to things? I know you got some young hot prospects, you know, in the gym. What do you have coming up? You know, what are you looking for? You know, what are your visions? What are your goals?
Well, a lot's gonna depend on what U.S. boxing does. We're saying that they projected that they still have the junior tournament, and they've moved that to September, I believe. The junior tournament in Texas. And saying that, you know, it'll be an open tournament, so everybody can just go. Okay. And then for the older guys that I have, that I've, you know, who have big plans and, you know, want to test their skills, they've opened up the national tournament, and they pushed that December. And all your boxers will be able to enter that tournament. It's an open tournament, so you don't have to qualify and go up the line to get to it. So it's interesting, because, you know, the whole thing is going to be, how do you keep the boxers safe in a sport that's up close personal, and they still be able to compete on a high level. That's going to be the tough thing. And I'm trying to come up with ways to figure out how I'm going to be able to bring my guys back, because I can't bring them back and crowd them in the way we were crowded in before.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be real tricky. Going to have to be real creative in how to get them in there. I'm thinking of small groups where there's enough space, and I'm just not sure about the contact, the sparring. One, you cannot spar with face masks on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that would even work. And they have to be able to spar in order to compete.
Right.
So, and USA Boxing is not providing, answers right now because they really don't know. And they don't know enough about the gyms to really understand how they operate. So I'm not sure. And they got to figure out what they're going to do for their athletes, the boxers, for the Olympics for 2021. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to wait on USA Boxing to come up with anything. I'm going to figure out how we do, how I can best put a program together to keep my boxers as safe as possible, keep myself safe, because I'm in the age range where this virus, has a tendency to take people out. They're saying anything from 50 and I'm 68. And so, and with a couple of declining conditions, so I have to be careful myself.
Definitely.
So I've got to figure all out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're going to come up with it. And I'm definitely going, I'm going to find a way to get us back, to get us trained, if we have to start in a big park, and, do group. But I'm thinking that we would be able to get back together and work on conditioning, mm-hmm. Work on defense, sharpen your offensive skills so that your jab is working. I saw you on, I think it was on Instagram. You were showing people how to do the jab.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Was it okay?
Yes. That was wonderful. I loved what you did. The jab was on point, and that's the kind of jab that you have to be able to have. It's got to be like a piston, and your jab looked just like a piston in a car.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. So do you feel like when you do bring the team back in, you will be, do you think your classes will get smaller because of the social distancing, and you're going to have to spread your bags and everything away from each other before we come to
yeah. The bags apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Move them around. The class will get smaller, but that's gonna cut some people out because I'll only be able to train so many at a time. And, you got to have enough time for people to train. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to come up with something. We definitely got to make some space around a little bit in the gym, because my bags right now are about 6 feet apart, and I'm probably going to need to push them to like 8 or 10.
Yeah.
8 probably.
Yeah.
I think would be okay. And I've got enough space. I can do some of that. And then it's just figure out how many people coming in. Definitely going to have to do that, taking temperatures to make sure people are not coming in with a temperature or sick. Yeah. Because boxers don't want to tell you when they're not feeling well because they don't want to miss practice.
They do not. Mm-mm.
And they'll come in there half dead, and I'd be like, yo, I've been sick all night. Go home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So you boxers, that's inherent in boxers. They are not going to tell you they sick because they want to train. So you've got to be able to decipher and say, okay, your temperature's elevated, go home. You know, don't even play with them. If they don't look right, stop them anyway.
Right, definitely. And I think that's very important for you boxers that's listening, and definitely you coaches. I mean, I understand that, you know, it's important that you get your guys fights and, you know, get them a lot of rounds. But first thing first, we got to take this slowly. We can't rush anything, because you know what they say, when you rush things and you mess up, you have to start all over again. Don't do that. Be cautious and listen to what they tell you to do. But you got to utilize social distancing. You have to. And I know everybody's going through it right now. I'm going through it. Coach Speaker's going through it. But we got to go through this together, because if we don't do this right now, it's only going to get worse. It's going to be really uncontrollable. So we got to maintain this right now. Mom, before we wrap up, is there any words of wisdom that you would like to give to people, to everybody that's out there, you know, something that you would like to say in particular?
Yeah, I need people to really, really take this seriously. It's not about, you know, as difficult as it is, you know, on lockdown. You got to think about the lives that have already been lost, the lives that are going to be lost if we follow the social distancing and what they say. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to not be able to understand, you know, we're fighting, what's going on. And, you know, we are going to, some people, because you've got some people who believe that, you know, nothing can touch them. You know, they're superheroes already, that, you know, they can fly and they don't need to do everybody else. Well, those people you're going to lose, but that's their choice.
Yes.
Okay? And that's their choice. I have a problem if you want to die. I have a problem, though, if you're trying to kill me and my lungs, then that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That I can't have. That I can't tolerate. But really need to take this seriously, because it could be so much worse, and it will be if people don't write things. And you know, and they need to be serious about it. You know, Blacks, Hispanics, those folks, we're getting hit the hardest, and we seem the ones having the most difficult time understanding and what needs to happen to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You got to protect yourself. You know, I didn't work this hard to come this far to be taken by a virus because somebody feels that they don't need to follow the rules.
Right. That. Yeah, I'm not trying to go out like that either.
Right. So.
Yeah. Right. Hey, Mom, your social media, for people that would like to get in contact with you, maybe, you know, they would like to swing through the Willingboro Boxing Club, the Rec Center, to contact you, or you might have some pros out there that might want you to train them. I don't know if you do that as well, but how do they get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me. They can go to they use my tag, Coach Glory Peak, all one word, and they can hit me up on Instagram, or they can hit me up on Facebook or YouTube.
Got you. You heard it. You can reach her on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, and definitely check out. She's my co-host on the Gatekeepers Roundtable podcast. She be bringing the ruckus. She be keeping everybody in check, and she be spitting the knowledge. This is a woman that has over 40-some years in the game. She knows everything. She is legit. That's word is bond. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Coach Stokes and the Coach Gloria Peak. We're going to catch you on the next time. And I'm out. Peace out, everybody.